Gustav Mahler, in composing his great First Symphony, drew musical inspiration from a wide variety of sources. He grew up in the small town of Iglau in Bohemia, and from a young age was exposed to military drills, marches, and parades. Folk music. Klezmer music, which is the music of the Jewish tradition. The Christian choral music of Bach and Handel. And last, but not least, the nature that surrounded him. It is this last source from which he draws the inspiration for the first movement of his First Symphony, which is described in German as nature sound. Before we start listening to Mahler's music, I want to draw your attention to the interval of a perfect fourth, which is a building block for the entire First Symphony. A perfect fourth, for example, C to F, is the interval spanning 5 half steps, or keys on a piano. To imagine this aurally, picture the opening of Here Comes the Bride, which consists of an ascending perfect fourth. This interval of the perfect fourth is present in many different forms throughout the First Symphony. The first movement opens with a series of descending perfect fourths, played softly and slowly on clarinet. Very shortly after this, we hear the fourth in a very different form. It's still played quite softly on the clarinets, but this time the sequence of fourths goes upwards and takes the form of a rapid fanfare. After this fanfare theme is repeated by trumpets, a very important motif is introduced on clarinet. It consists of 2 notes, a descending perfect fourth, that Mahler states is to imitate a cuckoo call. Remember, this entire movement is designed to evoke nature, and introducing such a simple, recognizable theme as a cuckoo call is a very effective way for Mahler to do this. Listen out for this cuckoo call being restated in many different forms throughout the first movement, and even showing up in other parts of the symphony later on. Interestingly enough, Mahler's cuckoo, which sings a descending fourth, as I demonstrated, is slightly different from what real cuckoos sing in nature, a descending third. Many other composers, both before and after Mahler, have composed the cuckoo call correctly as a third, 2 examples being Saint-Saëns in the 9th movement of his Carnival of Animals, and Handel in his organ concerto entitled The Cuckoo and the Nightingale. Renowned Mahler conductor Benjamin Zander said, "Like any great artist, Mahler changed nature to fit his artistic purpose." However, Lawrence Rose, a conservationist, said in a Q&A session that he had listened to many thousands of cuckoo recordings to hunt down a Mahler cuckoo, and yes, he had come across one, and said it was highly possible that Mahler would have heard a cuckoo sing with a perfect falling fourth while in his composing hut. Either way, the perfect fourth is such an integral component of the way he constructed his First Symphony, so it makes sense that he would choose to utilize it to depict a bird call. In the coda, or ending of the first movement, listen to how Mahler reintroduces the distinct, recognizable cuckoo call as the movement flurries to a halt. In the second movement, Mahler uses the interval of the fourth in a very different way. Played low on cello and bass, it forms a repeated ostinato for a theme that quickly becomes recognizable as a form of the Austrian folk dance known as a Landler dance. Towards the end of the fourth and final movement, an hour after Mahler first stated a sequence of descending fourths on clarinet to evoke nature, the exact same sequence is brought back again, only this time it is loud, joyful, and triumphant. As you enjoy all four movements of this masterful symphony, listen out for the wide variety of emotions and ideas Mahler manages to express using the building block of the perfect fourth.